Hello everyone, my name is Yuval Morad and I would like to share with you how to create a Fiori Freestyle application in Business Application Studio and deploy it to ABAP on-prem. So the first step is you need to have an account on trial where you could subscribe to App Studio. So you enter to the Cloud Platform entry page and click on the Start Free Trial. And then you go and get an account and a sample space even. Then you go to subscription and subscribe to Business Application Studio. Once you subscribe to Business Application Studio, you can also read the help and see the different scenarios that we support in Fiori development for Cloud Foundry, Fiori development for ABAP Cloud System, and Fiori development for ABAP on-premise, and this is what I want to go over with you. So we subscribe to App Studio. The next thing we need to do is to set up 2 on-premise destinations. I already set up 2 destinations. One is a U&Y system, which the authentication method, as you see here, is no authentication. I need to enter user password. And the second is URZ, and let me show it here. And this URZ has a principal propagation, so I don't need to enter any user and password. Of course, that cloud connectors are created and connecting these 2 systems, and as you see it here, and they need also to set up, and you see that both the system URZ and UNY are available for me. So once done, then I can go to the App Studio, just launch, click here and go to application. You see I subscribe to Business Application Studio and I get the entry page where I can create dev spaces. This is my working container. I can create dev space. I'm allowed to create 2 dev space in trial, 1 running, and I can choose the type of the dev space. I already created one, so it's Fiori dev space, and I click on it, then I get to my working workspace. So here I already created some project. Let's create one together, okay, with a freestyle templates. So we can do it from the Yeoman-like or command line-like or from a wizard. I choose the wizard. So we click on this link from the welcome page and start to create a Fiori project. The target runtime is either Cloud Foundry or ABAP. This time we want to choose ABAP. And we have list of templates, the work list application, the master details, work list v4, and a basic simple UI5. The application are also available on the SAP UI5 template apps. Here you see work list and master details, and we offer them in the App Studio. So let's continue with the simple work list. Let's give it a name, carrier app. And next is, we give it a title, carriers, and we can choose if to run it standalone or from Fiori Launchpad. Then we run it standalone. Now this is an important step where we choose the data source. And we have different data source options. We can connect to ABAP Cloud System, to my own developed service in the workspace, to a local file to run with mock, to API Hub, or to SAP systems, which are configured as you saw in my tenant. So I choose my SAP system, then I get a list of systems, the system that you saw on my tenant on the trial. I want to choose the URZ system, which is configured with principal propagation, so I don't need to enter any user password, you just take it automatically. So you see I don't need to enter my credential, and I get the list of services. There's a lot of services, so I need to type in and I get a filter. I choose the flights. And then after I choose the service, the metadata is explored, and I can bind and design my work list. So there are a list of collections. Let's take the carrier collection and The title would be the carrier name, and I don't see any numeric stuff here, so let's put the currency code. And that's all. That's our project. Now after it's created, let's try to run it. This is the carrier app. We go to the run configuration panel. You see I have already other templates that I created and ran, and we can create a run configuration to the carrier app. We can choose the triggering HTML. It could be a mock or QUnit that is delivered automatically, and this is the added value of the templates. I choose the index HTML. I can choose also the UI5 version to run with. Okay, so I choose this time the latest UI5 version, and let's call this one URZ latest. This is my configuration, and looking at the configuration, I see that I can bind to a data source to run against. So I can decide to run against test system, development system, anything that I can choose that has the service. By default, we will generate it with the one that we created, but currently it is not generated automatically, so I choose this URZ principle. And I know that, by the way, there's no data there. Still, let's test. So then we run it. We click here to run. And we should get a pod dedicated for us. Then the browser will be opened. So I expect that there will be no data. And then I can create another run configuration and see if we get data in other system. Okay. So the app is coming. First time it does some npm install. And then we get the dedicated port 6004. And the app came, but you see there's no data. So let's run it. By the way, the UI5 version here is, let's see, should be the latest, 176, okay, because I chose the latest. Now let's create another run configuration, this time to a different system, and just need to carrier up and index HTML, and then 171, let's call it U1Y 171. And now I bind it to a different system, the U1Y. Let's run it. Let's see what happens. So we should get the same pod pop-up for us coming, and the app should be launched, and hopefully this time with data. Yeah, and okay, good. It's with data. This is the carriers. I see some titles that I want to fix because it doesn't look so good. So we can go and easily go to the I18N here and fix it. So for example, here you see some stuff, special characters, and here maybe we should write currency. And then we save it, and here we just need to refresh and see that it should change. Don't need to stop anything, and yeah, okay, I forgot to delete one, but here is the currency. Okay, so let's now after everything is tested, okay, we can deploy the app. Just to show you that I have two systems. One of them is U1Y, you see, and in my BSP, I don't have any carrier up here. So let's deploy it. For deployment, we need to first build. So let me do an npm install, and then build it. After the build, I should get the dist folder that I would need to deploy. Okay, let's see. npm run build. So I expect to see here now a dist folder. And okay, and now I can deploy. I just do an ABAP deploy and have a nice CLI to deploy to ABAP quite fast, better than WebID full stack. This is an interactive mode, and I'll show you later the background mode. So the source folder is dist. It identifies the system to deploy to, and I want to deploy to U1Y. Okay, and I choose it. I need to enter credential. It's not principal propagation. So I enter my credential. See if I didn't make any mistake. Yeah, carrier app. And description working. And it deploys. It should take until half a minute to deploy it to ABAP, which is quite fast. It identified that this is a create mode. It asks app index if there is already app, and then fetches if there is already app. If not, then it is creating it. If it identifies it, then it updates it. So the same way, yeah. So it uploaded successfully. We can go now to the U1Y and refresh the BSP. See the carrier up. Yeah, this is the sounds of ABAP. And right-click it. If I don't have caching issues, then I should be able even to see the app running in the BSP. Yeah, currency, carrier collection, nice, working. Now the last thing I want to show you is I want to deploy it to another system, to URZ. Also here you see we don't have the app. Yeah, I can refresh even. And we want to do it faster this time, yeah, and not with the interactive mode. So how can we do it? We can add a configuration file. So I have already a configuration file created. Everything is written in the help. This one, I can copy it from the previous one that I created. And it's ABAP deploy RC, yeah. And this time I want to deploy it to URZ. And as you see, I don't really need a user and password. Yeah, here as I showed you, I did some dummy stuff, and let's call it Z carrier, because it's a test system. I need to start with Z, and it starts with Z. Okay, so now let's deploy it, and this time I just write ABAP deploy. I can have multiple deploy configuration, but if I have only one, then it takes the default. And I expect not to be asked any question, but just to use this configuration file and deploy it to URZ. Let's see. Hopefully it would work. Yeah, it's in create mode. And since it is principal propagation, then I'm not really asked for user and password. Yeah, it takes me as a principal, and it should already soon be there. Let's see. Yeah, it is deployed. let's now go to URZ and refresh it. See the Z carrier. Nice, the sound of ABAP, I like it. So test it, and yeah, it's coming empty because we don't have data, but it's there, it's running. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.